but I was offered Grease, Danny Zuko. And I thought, I've done the Fonz now for 10 years. I've got to move on. So I said no. I went home. I had a ginger ale. And then John Travolta took the role. He went home and bought a plane.
Love it or leave it. Please welcome to the stage a television icon, a living legend, the one and only Henry Winkler. Wow, look at that. Come on. He's ready with a bit. That's why he's the best. Come on.
I was not avoiding you.
Thank you for being here.
I am so happy. How did you pick this place? It's closer to New York than it is to my house.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a nice theater.
It is a nice
by
theater.
Koreatown. You can get Korean barbecue if you want.
Or you mean close?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Do you ever
I
have
got was
Korean
popcorn.
Do you have Korean barbecue ever?
I've had Korean barbecue once, and I had to work too hard to eat it. Do you know, I had to make it myself. Yeah.
So you recently celebrated your 80th birthday.
I did. Thank you. Thank you. And it was so hard for me to actually wrap my tongue around the number. The people would say, "So how old are you now?" And I would go, "Hey." I could not say, "Hey."
Huh.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes it less true when you don't say it?
It does not make it less true. No, my knees are 80. Yeah. They sometimes take an Uber home on their own.
Well, in celebration
Yes.
of this milestone,
I'm here.
we're introducing a segment called 80 for 80.
80 for...
Kennedy, that sucks. For those at home,
Is that me?
that is a version of you of what could have been.
Yeah.
This is 80 for 80 in the style of 80 for Brady.
Yeah.
I think we look great.
No,
We're going to try to get through as many of 80 questions as we can.
I like props. I really do.
In honor of your 80th birthday, Milwaukee, Wisconsin officially declared October 30th Henry Winkler Day. Happy Days was set in Milwaukee.
Yes,
They
it was.
previously have erected the bronze Fonz.
Yes.
Do you have to be able to pull off a leather jacket to achieve your level of acclaim, you think?
Do you know I was not able to wear leather in the beginning? I had to wear cloth because ABC thought I would be associated with crime. So, and it was very hard to be cool in cloth. I am not kidding. The collar did not stay up.
It's very funny to imagine a time in which this was dangerous. This sweet character with his leather jacket and white t-shirt. We had Rob Reiner on, and
Yes.
Rob Reiner had played a tough in the style of the Fonz, where he had worn a leather jacket. But it's like, I'm sorry, but this is just a sweet Jewish boy on a motorcycle.
Well, they wanted a tall Italian, and they got a short Jew. That is true. But I loved it. I really did. I loved, my parents were shorter than I was, and they were from Germany, and they were really not supportive at all, and they would call me dumme Hund, which means dumb dog.
What?
Yes, because I'm very dyslexic, so I didn't do well. I'm in the bottom 3% academically in America, and where did I go? Yeah, hey. I like that picture. But anyway, then that jacket, I called my parents. I said, well, Dumme Hund's jacket is now in the Smithsonian.
Wow. Did you ever feel insecure about being short?
I feel insecure about almost every single thing. It is only in the last 10 years. I saw myself as honest to God, as a block of Swiss cheese filled with holes. And in the last 10 years, I have tried to make myself into a block of cheddar.
What is it? So you really feel like, so when you turned 70, you were carrying some of the insecurities you carried when you were being called?
Without a doubt.
Really?
Yes.
And in the last decade, you shed some.
Because, unless you actually do some work, you are who you are. And that doesn't go away no matter what changes. Your age, your physicality, the inside pretty much stays the same. It is really up to you to make yourself more whole.
And do you think, you talked about being dyslexic, one of the children's book that's just coming out, right? Or one of the children's books you've written recently.
Okay, can I brag?
Yes.
All right. My 40th children's book came out September 30th. Thank you. Can I would like to say, and no pressure at all, but the holidays are coming and it's about a little duckling who dreams about being a detective, and she's an environmentalist. Yeah.
And the duck is not dyslexic?
The duck is not dyslexic.
But there's an overachiever.
The writer is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But didn't you write Hank Zipzer?
Hank Zipzer, 28 novels about a little boy, me. Okay, great story. PS 87. I went to PS 87 on 78, just up the block from where I was born and raised, and grew up on 78th between Broadway and Amsterdam. So PS 87. And I went there and I read Hank Zipzer because he also goes to PS 87. You write what you know. And so I went to an award show, and there was Timothée Chalamet. And I went up and I said, I have to shake your hand because you are really terrific at what you do. He said, I'm a hugger. And so he gave me a hug. I was thrilled. And then he said, the first time you came to PS 87 with Hank Zipzer, I was in the 4th grade, and I was in the audience when you read the book. Oh, my God.
Wow.
It's still working.
Little Timothée.
Yeah.
But the boy in that book has dyslexia.
He is me.
He is you.
Yes.
And you have dyslexia.
So the emotionality of that little boy in the book is true, and the comedy, my writing partner Lynn Oliver, the comedy we made up.
But what I'm asking is, do you think your insecurities came from dyslexia? Like, how much of a role has dyslexia played in driving you?
I took geometry for 4 years, same course. I took it in regular school and in summer school. Regular school, summer school. Regular school, summer school. And I finally passed it with a D- so I could go to the one college that accepted me, Emerson in Boston. And thank you. Yeah, I got in. And I nearly got kicked out, but I got in. And from that day in August of 1963, that I passed with a D-, not one person has ever said hypotenuse to me.
But sometimes you're figuring out which direction to go, and then you think,
I know my left because it's the arm I stick out the window when I'm driving. That's how I know my left.
Really? I struggle with
God.
that too. You know what I struggle with? I have to get in the map, like on Friends. I got to rotate that map, whatever direction I'm facing. I got to turn the map fully around.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I can't read the map.
Boy, we'd be terrible in The Amazing Race. Or would we?
That is, I'm fascinated by that show, but I know my limitations. When you have to make a doll out of leaves and have somebody who doesn't speak your language at all nod that you've made the doll correctly, I would still be there.
Plus, they have to connect their flights a lot. They got to connect. So when you didn't get diagnosed with dyslexia until you were 31.
I wasn't diagnosed. My stepson, Jed, was in the 3rd grade, very verbal, very funny, couldn't get his homework done. And we had them tested, and everything they said about Jed was true about me. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm not a dumme Hund. I've got something with a name.
You want to hear an opposite story?
I do.
About confidence. When I was a little boy,
where did you grow up?
Long Island.
Okay.
And I was
what town?
Syosset.
Okay.
I was very good at math. But
Yeah.
I was not a good reader.
Right.
It turned out that I was seeing double some of the time, which was a hindrance. But the teacher led me to a section in the library that was that had the easy to read books. And so I went home and I told my mom, I've done it again, Mom. They brought me to this section of the library for the kids that find it easy to read. Love It or Leave It is brought to you by Policy Genius. With rising costs, sometimes you're shocked by how expensive things are. But when it comes to life insurance, 72% of Americans actually overestimate the cost of what life insurance will be. Policy Genius makes finding and buying life insurance fast, easy, and surprisingly affordable. So if something happens to you, your loved ones have a financial safety net. With Policy Genius, real users have gotten 20-year, $2 million policies for just $53 a month. Policy Genius helps you compare your options by getting quotes for America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find coverage that fits your needs and your budget. Talk to a team of licensed agents who will walk you through the process step by step. They'll answer questions, handle paperwork, advocate for you throughout the process. Policy Genius lays out all the options clearly: coverage amounts, prices, terms, no guesswork. Life insurance is a form of financial planning, and Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. Policy Genius has thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot, and customers who found the best policy fit for their needs. Secure your family's future with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/loveit to compare life insurance quotes from top companies and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/loveit. Are there any roles you wish you had taken but ended up passing on for logistical reasons or things that just didn't happen?
No, I always thought that if I was supposed to do something, it would have happened. But I was offered Grease, Danny Zuko. And I thought, I've done the Fonz now for 10 years. I've got to move on. So I said no. I went home. I had a ginger ale. And then John Travolta took the role. He went home and bought a plane.
Listen, here's the thing. You buy a plane. Now you got to think about what's happening with my plane. Where is it being kept? Who's keeping an eye on it?
It's true.
It's a lot of work having a plane.
It's true.
Yeah,
I could have donated it to Qatar, but...
So you have a TV series, Hazardous History with Henry Winkler.
Yes, I'm on that now. So I've never done this before. And of course, this is crazy because the show is on the History Channel. It is about all of the crazy stuff that people did either for entertainment or to make money. I'll give you an example. 7-Up, born 1927. Bubbly, refreshing, citrusy. And the tagline was, "We will take the edge off," because it was laced with lithium.
Oh. God, what a time that was. What a time. What a time. Where people were like, oh, do you have a headache? We have this new thing, heroin.
No joke. They did that. But anyway, we did 8 episodes, and they just picked us up for 30. Thank you. Now, here's the crazy thing. All I do is read on that show. I have to read copy for days. And I read The Tale of Two Cities. I didn't. I read the cover. Thank you. I like that woman.
But do you have like a technique to deal with the fact that sometimes dyslexia makes it hard for you to learn lines? Like what?
You know what I did? I would audition. I would memorize as much as I possibly could. I would then, during the audition, forget. And I ad-libbed. And they said, "Excuse me, that is not what we wrote." I said, "I'm giving you the essence of the character." It worked.
Wow. Do you think it might have something to do with your raw charisma and kind of an energy that is sort of captivating?
I was too nervous to even think about that I had raw anything. I'm not kidding. I was just fighting for my life.
Do you remember starring in the short-lived 1994 sitcom Monty?
Oh my God! So, I read the written by one of the people who was writing for Gary David Goldberg at the time, and it was so funny, but it was so controversial. I would play Rush Limbaugh with a gay daughter. And it was so funny, and I said, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. And then I would think about it, and I called him up, and I said, well, I rethought, and no, I can't do it. And the third time I said yes. So I learned a big lesson from this show because we did it, and then somebody at NBC saw it and said, not on my network. And so I had tickets to go to New York for the upfronts, you know, where they sell time for advertisers. And then they took my ticket away. And then we sold it to Fox. So Fox, they had the brilliant idea, we're not going to have a gay daughter. David Schwimmer is going to go to college and study law, but come back and want to be a chef. That was the controversy.
So instead of a gay daughter, it was a son that was like cooking. Because that was people don't remember this. In the early 90s, cooking was coded as very gay.
Except, I don't believe that, but here it is. This is the lesson. When you say yes to something and they tried to bastardize it, go home. Do not go down that path. It never works out well or good.
Because, you know, I made this show called 1600 Penn.
But it was a good show.
It was a great show. But the original pitch was that that was a much like darker comedy.
Yeah.
And the first lady was going to be like raunchy and cheating on the president.
Right.
And it was going to be a darker show.
Right.
And I remember being on a notes call with some studio executives, and they were like, we love it. But have you think about this, instead of the first lady being a drunk who's sleeping with the Secret Service agents and hates her husband, what if she is a working mom trying to have it all? And I was like, well, I don't know that that's as funny. And they were like, well, if you don't do it, I don't know that you're going to make this show.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to go home and write what they're asking for.
No, but I understand that. I mean, this is your dream of getting a show. You now have a shot at getting it produced. You're trying to make yourself into a pretzel. And here's the lesson that, you know, you then put in a dog, and then you put in a best friend, and then, you take out a character that might be African American, and they cancel you. And you say, but I did everything you said. And they went, that was your first mistake.
That's interesting. It's a lot to
true.
think about. It's a lot to think about.
It's true.
So Happy Days airs in 1974, but was set in the 50s. So if we were to make a show now in 2025, it would be set in the 2000s. So your character had obviously famous catchphrases. I'm going to work. Here would be the Fonz catchphrases. See which one of these you would take for a show made in 2025 about the 2000s.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
I'm thebomb.com. Check out the bling, biatch. Talk to the hand because the face ain't listening. That's gay, biatch. That's... One final question.
Yes. Wait a minute. Did we go through 80?
It felt like it.
It did.
Was there anything about turning 80 that did you have advice or wisdom that suddenly come to you that you realize you turn 80 and then all of a sudden like I got to tell the people?
If I have advice at all, I learned to be quiet about advice. I used to have advice about everything. And people would say to me, so you played a cool guy. How am I cool? How do I get to be cool? And my advice is to be authentically who you are, which is magnetic and powerful and cool.
I like that. I like that. Henry Winkler, thank you so much.